So last time on Call of Cthulhu, A Trail of the Jade Rabbit, our investigators touched down in, well, reality?
Okay.
Non-reality? I think it's reality right now. But they came across a linguist, or actually they more likely tracked him down to his home and offered him liquor. Unfortunately, that didn't go too well for them, but he did tell them that what language the journal was written in. Although they only showed him scraps of the journal, he was able to isolate it down to ancient Assyrian, some form of dialect that's in the ancient Assyrian tract. Kevin left to study and go translate more of the journal, now that he knows what clues to work on and what kind of language it is in, to see what he can figure out, and provide more clues back to the group. So he will not be joining us this evening as he is doing his own external investigation.
He didn't go insane?
He did not go insane.
Okay.
No, he's just working very hard.
Okay.
He's working very, very diligent. The rest of you? No, not happening.
We're drinking scotch.
While that
20-year-old
took
scotch.
place, Doug and Tony,
You're welcome.
Okay.
they chased after another lead. Heading late into the night, they headed off to a Mr. Charles Dupree's house. After some botched stealth rolls and falling through some holly bushes, a night watchman was alerted and everyone had to vacate the area. This is where we find ourselves. Everyone called it a night, went back to their homes, and is now currently the next day starting to meet up. We did have some clues that were uncovered the last time we were running around. The professor did point you towards another archaeologist that would have a class running at the university first thing in the morning, as well as possibly an attempt to go back over to Mr. Dupree's house. That's where we're going to open. It's first thing in the morning. Where would you guys like to head?
I mean, let's go to the class. I'm ready to learn about architecture.
All right. So you head over. It's pretty uneventful. You head over to the college, and head over to the School of Archaeology.
On the way, I guess all four of us are going.
Who all would like to go?
I mean, I'm going.
I don't think I was with y'all to go to wherever. Or
But
we
you
all
are
still.
the driver, so you would.
Yeah, I would have definitely called you and said, hey, Barry, right?
Billy.
Billy?
Billy, sir.
Billy Barry.
That sounds like
Barry
sounds
gets
like
it started.
Billy sounds better.
that sounds like a person with a chauffeur. Forgetting his name. Hey, you.
I'm too busy counting my money. I ain't got time to learn your name.
Hey, Mitch, it's not even right. Not even at all.
I don't. I call people by the wrong name just to let them know how little I actually
Hey,
care.
car
about
jockey, get over here.
All right. So who all's going?
I guess I'm going with him.
Are you driving?
Yeah,
So,
I'm going to drive, yes.
No, Percy's going to have to go crash his own car. Or, sorry, Doug Hauser is going to have to go crash his own car.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to kind of speed through that little, incidental scene. You guys make it over to the college, and you make it over to the School of Archaeology. And you enter into the building, and there is a class that is getting ready to start. Up in front, you do see a professor, and on the door it's tagged Professor Timothy Greer. And it is right next to the other professor's door, his office.
Who's the other professor?
Is that through car?
That was Dakar. Which, if you remember correctly, he did say his counterpart has a class right next to his office.
Yeah, it was loud. Wasn't it supposed to be really loud or something like that? So, do we want to go barge in before class? Are there students in there? Can we tell?
There are a few students. They're lingering in. The diligent ones are walking in.
Yeah.
The rest are
ones-
loitering.
Yeah, we know those kinds.
So
You know,
Dr.
it's not like
Greer
the A's.
won't know anything, right? He's not the one we're looking for.
Yeah, he's the linguist, right? Oh, no, Drakkar was the linguist.
Drakkar was the linguist, but he was able to identify that it was ancient
And
Assyrian.
this guy's the specialist.
This
I
guy's
see.
the
Okay, I
specialist.
see. I'm caught up. I mean, yeah, I definitely want to probably sit in the back of the class and just
Yeah.
kind of wait for it to be over. Like, I don't want to interrupt or make class
Alright.
late.
How
I
much
don't want to
time?
make it hard for him.
How much time we got before class starts?
This is a simple investigation. We've
Yeah.
got all the time in the world. The
It's a
guy's
matter-
already dead.
It's a matter of a few minutes, and the class will be kicking off. So if you guys are not going to do anything, then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and fast forward that scene to where the class is wrapping up.
All right.
What did we learn?
Of course, I sat at the
Do we
back
got
of the
homework?
class.
You learn that dirt contains artifacts, and artifacts can sometimes be valuable to different people in order to be able to learn what a culture was about historically that you don't know anything else about.
All right, cool, thank you.
Yeah.
You good?
Sorry.
Which culture, by the way? I just want to make sure I got it all for the test.
Okay, he's going insane pretty quick.
Roll a sanity check now. No.
At disadvantage.
Anyway, no, you have a bout of madness. No. So as the class wraps up, a few of the students linger around. They ask the professor a few questions, and you're starting to see the professor, Mr. Greer, or Professor Greer, he's grabbing his documents and grabbing his briefcase and starting to wrap
And he
everything
doesn't notice
together.
all these old guys at the back of his class? He don't care?
It doesn't appear that he cares.
Apparently
I'm
not.
relatively
All right.
young. I'm only
I
26.
kind of wander up since I'm the youngest. Well, I guess maybe you, but you know, hey Doc, what you doing?
Yes, what can I help you with?
We got some stuff. I got a doctor friend here. He kind of wanted to talk to you about some stuff. He's got. We got some things we thought maybe you could help us with.
Are you a student here?
No, I couldn't get in. I tried, but I couldn't get in. You know, but you know, it'd been nice. You're a good teacher too. You know, you talk about that dirt stuff really, really well.
So maybe you should maybe make an appointment then.
Well, you know, I'm not sure we're here now, so that's not a problem. He is a doctor. I think he went here. He's a. Maybe he can talk your language. Hey, Doc. He's a head doctor, you know. And I don't mean
He
head of
looks-
the department.
He looks over at his stone-faced Doug Hauser. Who's broken.
All right, he failed his sanity check, and he seems to have lost it here, folks.
Wow. We haven't even started. We didn't even do anything. I'm going to mute your mic for a minute.
Okay. Good idea.
Wow.
God dang it.
We didn't even get 20 minutes of dick jokes.
He's a head doctor.
No. Oh, okay, I'm ready.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I'm just sitting in the back of the classroom watching you fumble over this. That's what I'm laughing at. Like, I'm just sitting back, staring, like, unbelievingly that you're taking up this poor man's time.
Our
That's
poor
okay.
listeners. Our poor listeners.
I don't know what. I don't know why that was so funny as hell to me. That whole
He's
scene,
not even intoxicated, people.
that whole scene
nothing.
just made me lose my crap. That was. Oh gosh.
Alrighty then.
Okay, we're ready for you now. Okay.
I don't even know. Okay.
Take a deep breath. Come on, Doogie.
It's Doug.
Yeah, it's Doug, all right.
What my friend here is trying to say is that this is not something that can wait for an appointment. We're in the midst of an investigation. We've been hired by the police to investigate a murder that happened over near Bremen's only a few days back. And in his possession was a journal that had just some archaic writings, and we've been able to decipher some, but your colleague, Dr. Drakkar, I believe it was, said that you might be able to help us.
It's possible. Please roll me a persuade roll.
Mhm.
You say that this is some ancient writing.
I would like to...
Can I assist him with his persuade roll? Because I gave all that great talk.
You can take a disadvantage.
Okay, so I rolled a 10 die again. So I rolled a 15. So I got a outstanding success. You must like goofball kids, you know. I'm a junior delinquent. Maybe he has a fondness for us, you know.
All right. So he looks back over between the two of you, and were you pushing your roll to try?
What am I trying to persuade him to do right now? Just listen to us?
Just listen.
Well, we got him to listen.
We don't have to persuade him to do that. We just tie him down and force him to listen and be like, read the book.
You know what? I think this one's pretty
Don't forget
important.
to mark that down.
Oh, no.
I think this one's pretty important, so I think I am going to press it. I kind of want to spend the luck, but it's 28 luck to pass this test.
Yeah, but we got him to listen. Unless you're pushing for something.
Well,
deeper.
he was helping me, right?
Yeah.
So what did his roll do to that?
He actually was doing more of his own persuasive role
Okay,
based upon the RP that was there that made you lose it in the first place.
sure.
To get him interested. I was trying to get him interested
Okay.
in what we had to say.
So does his success not affect my success at all?
It won't, because it's two different conversations.
Okay. So he'll listen to him.
Probably.
Okay.
Ha!
Then yeah, I'm not gonna push it. I'm just gonna take the hit.
You
I'm
got
gonna
a
take the
bottle
fail.
you want to pull from somewhere?
Not for this guy.
All right. So he looks over at you and he's just kind of. So you don't even know what we're talking about. Apparently, the uneducated one here does.
Out of the mouths of babes, right?
Who called him uneducated?
It's obvious by the way he's speaking.
Oh, you're okay. Just making
Well,
sure.
no, man. We get education in different ways. Okay, some good book smart. Some of us learn on the streets different ways. But I appreciate you talking to us and all that.
So what is it I can do for you? I have another class and an engagement to
Oh
move
yeah,
on to.
oh yeah, completely. We got this book here, and that we got, and
Did
we
you
was
have a
wondering.
book, or did Kevin take it?
We've got the sheet. We've got the cipher.
Oh, is that all we got? We just got the cipher.
We're just trying to build a cipher.
Oh, okay. Well, we got a cipher. I don't know what that is, but they say this is something that you should look at. So, my friend here.
Ciphers aren't a bit of my speciality, but if it is, Syrian writing, then maybe I can help you out.
Well, they said it was. Okay, they said it was Syrian writing. You got that, Doc? You got that piece of paper he can look at?
Yes, I do.
So he takes a piece of paper and he looks at it and studies it over for a few minutes. And you kind of roll me a notice check, everyone.
Would it be spotted?
Spot hidden.
Spot hidden?
Same thing.
All right, I made it.
Do I have to roll below my number or above it?
Below.
Below?
You want to roll below.
Good.
I did not spot hidden.
You're still fuming over the fact that he's ignoring you at this point. You're not used to this.
He saw you hysterically laughing in the back and figured, this guy's lost his stuff.
I don't
man.
even know what
I
that.
failed
I
it.
still don't know what that was about.
All right. So
I was successful.
you two don't notice this, but Tony, you've been on the street long enough that you kind of learn to read somebody's facial expressions. And it's not until he's about 3/4 of the way through this cipher sheet from the random stuff that you guys copied down that you kind of see his face almost twitch a little bit. And he looks back at the page and then looks up and, if you don't mind me asking, where did you acquire this?
Well, yeah,
I told you already.
a friend of us
We were
pulled it
able
out of this
to-
book at the library.
We were able to copy some from a journal that the deceased had in his possession before it was taken into evidence by the officers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the book. I don't know all that book stuff. But I mean, why do you ask?
Well, the reason why I ask is it references, and it makes an odd reference for this location, which is, it references some Indian culture that is around here, and it's talking about, I see this phrase, it's called, and I apologize if I can't pronounce this correctly, it's Skudak Mooch, which roughly translates, and again, I work with some of these Indian cultures around here doing digs, but that's reference to a ghost witch.
A ghost witch.
A ghost witch? It's an old legend. Pardon me while I pull up my notes.
While I whips this out.
We're in pause mode, isn't
It's a little odd because although we work through the local tribes, it's written in Chickasaw. But this is an Algonquin myth. It's not meant for the Chickasaw people, it's meant for the Algonquins.
I ain't got no clue what you talking about.
It's written in Chickasaw.
Chickasaw, Algonquin.
Chickasaw.
What can you simplify it for me a little bit? Well, these are different Indians.
I believe these are nomadic.
These are Indian
tribes.
These are Native Americans
Yes.
that this myth comes from, and this legend comes from the tribes that are associated with northern Maine.
Well,
Not
no,
with
we're
Missouri.
not in northern Maine.
Not with Missouri. So, without seeing the rest of the context here, I don't know if I could help you out any further than this, but it doesn't make sense to why it would be written in one language.
Yes, I think most of what we need is just for you to translate what's on the page here, and then I think we'll go from there.
Well, but if I mean, I don't know where to get the book, but if you could read the whole book, could you read the whole thing?
Oh, quite easily if it's written like this, yes.
Oh, really? You ever seen anything like this before? Is this
Well, I did study this, my friend.
Oh, okay. So it's not some weird thing.
I think he meant, have you seen things that reference similar things to these?
Not around here, no.
Okay.
Not around here, no. Now, the rest of these are just random words, and he gives you the random words, and it basically creates the cipher translation for
Yep.
you. But at any point in time, if you would like to bring back the original text, or even just a few pages of the original text copied down, I might be able to give you a little bit more information, especially about this, because I find it very intriguing that something is... This legend would be referenced here.
Yeah, intriguing. So that means you are interested in this stuff, you know? That's pretty cool. We appreciate your help, too, Doc. Well, you know, I don't know anything else we can ask.
Now,
but,
one thing I will tell you, this last symbol that's showing on the page here, this is not any language that I'm familiar with.
Oh.
What does the symbol look like?
The symbol looks more like an animal.
Okay.
And that particular animal is canine in nature.
Oh. So, if I'm right, is that called a hieroglyph?
I think it's called a dog.
Oh, it's just called a
Right,
dog.
my friend.
Man, look,
He just-
hey, don't rain on my parade.
Are you sure you're not one of my students?
Hey, well, yeah. Give me a test and we'll see what happens.
Okay, yeah, that's what. Okay, yeah, like he said. But
Now, if there's nothing further, I do have to total off now.
well, now if we did bring a little more stuff, where should we catch you?
At my office hours, I'm here Monday through Friday.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, you know, if we get some more, you know, since you're interested in all
Just
that,
ask for Professor Greer, and they'll guide you to where I'm at.
Oh, you're a friendly chap, man. It's been a pleasure.
It's been a great pleasure.
Thank you.
And he turns around and walks away.
Should probably leave him with our names though, so we don't have to schedule an appointment.
I don't think he's going to forget you.
Hey, look, all right, you know.
Did we? So the notice, the spot notice, I figure that's just because it was so unusual that it was something unusual about it, or did I?
It was completely just out of the norm. Because let's kind of wrap back in so that we can do a little meta here on this particular topic. It doesn't fit the geographical location. That context of what was written down there does not fit the geographical location.
Okay.
All right. So from here, where would everybody like to head?
What are the options on the table?
Currently, that you know of, that you guys have figured out to this point, is Mr. Dupree.
Yeah, and I wanted to talk to you about that. I guess we're outside now. I said, you know, One thing I found funny about Mr. Dupree's place the other night was there was something weird going on in there. He had all the windows blocked out. Yeah, I mean blacked out. They were blacked out so that no light would show through, but I could tell that there were candles lit inside. So I mean, one, why are they using candles? And two, why are they blacking all that stuff out? That's and it wasn't just like curtains. I mean, this was intentional. I can tell when people don't want people snooping in their house, and that's what it looked like to me.
Can I make a roll, or would I even need to make a roll to remember the news story that we had read during the session 0 about the archaeologist who
You
had
can
gone,
if you'd
who,
like.
who had gone missing?
It would just be
It was
a
an Indian dig.
standard.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I want to know from it, and maybe it's a use library check, I don't know, to where to figure out if what he was digging in was related to what this guy just told us.
It'd be an idea check.
Idea check.
So basically, yeah.
Oh, buddy. You sure it's not education?
I'm sure.
Where's the idea?
You weren't educated on this.
Yeah, I pass.
How did we pass? How good?
Intelligence.
Standard?
Just
Normal pass?
just standard, yeah, but I could push it if I needed to.
Well, I'm not going to tell you whether you need to or not. That's entirely up to you.
Buddy, I'm going to do it.
Okay.
I'm
Your
gonna think extra
consequences are
hard.
you cannot recall anything.
Can I spend luck on a push roll?
Sure.
Cool. I got 1 point lower. 74 and 73.
All right. So you still pass. But
Yeah, I did.
Okay. So you do recall the newspaper article. You remember Kevin making kind of a big deal about, what he was reading in there, and that there was a professor that, and you kind of find it a little bit odd that that this professor would have been working as a business partner or a partner here at the university, and he was in a dig on the northwest side of St. Louis, out where the Chickasaw people would have been.
What was the professor's name?
It was not given.
I got a name on my paper. You gave me a name, I think John Buckley. Is that the thing from the newspaper in the beginning? Went missing, archaeologist, USL uniform.
You have a note that I don't have anymore, but thank you.
It's John Buckley.
It's John Buckley.
I have it in your notes, sir. And bring out a notepad to Doug.
Ah, yes, I forgot I had taken this.
Yes. John Buckley, I think his name was.
Why are you talking in a British accent?
Everyone was doing it for a minute. So.
You're right.
Yeah.
Damn right, cheeky bastard he is.
So I think at that point I would want to see, maybe as everybody else is leaving, tell them, hey, you guys go to the car. I want to talk about John Buckley.
All right. So what's everybody doing?
With the professor. Like, I'm going to run back in. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, you go ahead. Of course, he didn't really want to talk to you. You sure you don't want me to go along? I can smooth talk him, for you, because maybe you don't talk his language.
I think I'll be all right.
Okay.
I'll keep the car running for you, sir.
You can actually take. Chris, what is your character's name?
He's not there with you.
Oh, he's not
No.
here. Okay,
Not
perfect.
yet.
Perfect.
Not
Perfect.
yet. We haven't introduced him yet.
You and Tony actually go. I think we might need some more help. Head back to the. It's not a base library, and see who might be willing to come along.
All right, heading back to the fort.
All right. So you walking in?
Yes, Fort Hauser.
Yep.
Fort Hauser. It's
Fort-
a 2-bedroom apartment. It is.
Fort Library.
All right.
Yeah, I'm walking back in.
So I'll let you start this off.
What was his name again? Crud.
The guy who went missing. John Buckley was the guy who went missing.
Yeah. So is he walking to his next class? What's he doing?
He's walking towards a set of offices.
Okay. I kind of am walking quickly, trying to catch up with him. Am I making ground, or is he walking quickly as well?
I'll just say you're making ground.
Perfect. So when I'm about 10 feet away, I say kind of loudly, but not loud enough to make it echo in the hallway. I just say, John Buckley.
He doesn't say anything. He keeps moving.
Nothing. Okay. Well, and I keep following him.
Okay, he gets
Dr.
to
Dr.
his
Greer.
office.
Dr. Greer.
Oh, yes, it's you again.
It is. Does the name John Buckley sound familiar to you?
Of course.
I-
He's a associate professor that has been up on a dig for the last few weeks.
Yes. What kind of dig was he on?
Well, he's working on the on pulling some new artifacts and cataloging them for the Chickasaw dig that's just north of town.
Were you 100% sure that it was a Chickasaw dig?
That's what he turned into the Department for Funding.
What was he looking for in particular?
He had stated in his. Well, I'll tell you what. Join me in my office where I can pull all the documentation here.
Absolutely.
It's all a matter of public record anyway.
On your computer.
No, so he goes into the office and he opens up his filing cabinet.
Oh, he opens a file.
And he pulls out a manila folder and starts flashing through it. And says, well, it says right here that he's located a bunch of pottery artifacts that contain mummified remains. It looks like organs, maybe?
Is that something that's usual for the Chickasaw?
It really was not, but these medicine men of the tribes and different tribes, they all had some unique quirks, and that's what makes archaeology interesting.
What was the name of the other group of Indians?
The Algonquins.
Algonquins. What about the Algonquin? Is this a practice that they are known for?
Well, now that you mention it, yes, actually. This is what their medicine men and doctors would do.
It's quite interesting, don't you think? That we find this. Anyway, never mind. Thanks so much for your time.
Oh, no problem.
If you think of anything, my number is 867-5309.
Call me on my cell phone.
Yeah, you could reach me on my
Give
cell
me-
phone. I got it on my
you
hip.
can
at
give
all
me a
times.
call.
Oh, you're staying at the Hotel California?
Hit me on my iPhone X.
You can.
All right, scene's over.
Yeah.
Move on.
Okay.
And then,
So who was Paul Dillon, too?
And he the dead man? No, he's
No,
not.
that was
Buckley's
Robert.
dead man.
Robert Dupree.
Robert Shawn.
Robert Shawn.
Yeah, he
James
was
Dupree.
shot.
Jimmy
was
Dupree.
hired, he was hired by Dupree,
Yes.
and then I've got that he was investigating Paul Dillon.
Yes, and somebody pulled
And
some
I've got some
records of names of
I've
Paul
got
Dillons.
3 Paul Dillon addresses
Okay.
that are valid that we haven't checked yet.
Yeah, maybe we should go check on this Paul Dillon. If that's who this Robert Shaw was investigating when he was shot.
Yeah. So we've got at this point. How would I meet back up with these?
Yeah, because we drove off.
Because they headed out.
I don't know.
Just
How would you
call-
meet back up with
just
these
call
guys?
us. I got my beeper.
I would. I don't know. Call some sort of cab, ride a carriage. I don't know what's available.
Call your chauffeur.
Obviously, there's cabs.
Yeah. So that's what I would get a cab and take it back to the library.
All right. So you guys meet up back at the library. I'm going to let you guys dictate where you want to go and what you want to do.
So what'd you find out?
Interestingly enough, this. Do you remember when we were at Bremen's and we read in the paper about John Buckley
Yeah, the
going
archaeologist.
missing? Yes. Apparently Dr. Greer does not know that Buckley is missing. This is an interesting piece of information, I think,
Yeah,
that's being kept
it's
quiet
only been
now.
a couple days, but yeah, that is true.
Also, Buckley was investigating, get this, Chickasaw remains that have telltale signs of Algonquin heritage, not unlike our document here.
Oh. So that's like 2 and 2 make 4 or something?
I think we should, at the very least, visit these ruins and see what we might be able to find out.
I I think that's a good idea.
I do think we're going to have to go at night.
Oh, you sure about that?
I imagine
I don't
that.
mind. Maybe we go to Dupree's or Duval's at night. But these ruins, maybe we should drive by there during the day and then decide and make a plan about whether we go back at night.
If it will make you more comfortable, Tony.
It would make me more comfortable. And another thing is, do we want to drive? I mean, I love the Rolls and all, but we can't really go anywhere incognito driving around in your Rolls. Maybe we should get a car that's not quite so, noticeable. Especially because we made a big scene the other night at Mr. Duval's.
Do you have a car?
Well, yeah.
Then let's take that one.
All right.
All right, where are we going?
All right. So we're getting my 31 Cord L29 Cabriolet, and let's go take a little drive.
We're gonna go check out the ruins.
Nice change
All
of
right.
pace to be able to sit in the back seat for once.
So really quickly,
Yeah.
who's driving?
I'm driving.
Would you give me a navigate roll?
A navigate. Wait. I got Google Maps. What do I need to navigate for?
I can navigate for him. Just guide him where to go. Okay.
I have no idea
So
where I could be.
He turns left, and you can take a check.
He's a driver.
Or would you
doesn't
like to
have
push
any
that?
navigation.
Well, I figure we'll find it eventually.
He turned the first to left that he saw. He's like, I don't know
I'm
where we're
afraid-
going. We're lost.
Well, I
This street
can't-
doesn't look familiar.
I rolled a 96.
I passed.
so-
47 out of 50.
Okay. So you noticed that he turned left when he should have gone right.
Okay. Yeah.
I didn't drive off a cliff. Or
Tony,
anything, did I?
you sure you know where you're going?
Well, I thought I did, but we don't seem to be in the right part of town here.
Yeah, we turned left, and that's all we did, Tony.
It was the northwest.
I always get my left and my right mixed up,
Mm.
man. I had trouble with that in school too. Okay, so where I turn? I'll drive back to wherever he tells me to.
Yeah,
turn.
I let him know where the.
Ah,
Just pull around over here. Just continue forward. Continue
oh,
straight.
okay, yeah. All right, yeah. Maybe I'm on track now. Am I
Yeah.
right? Am I on track?
I guide him the rest of the way.
So 30 or 40 minutes later, you guys are following back out towards the general directions that you were given, and you see what looks like you're passing by areas of thinned out forest, and you eventually come up to an area where you see a few vehicles that are parked off to the side of the road, and it looks to be like they are digging out in the middle of a field. You see a lot of sweaters and university style clothing that's got some younger students that are out there, so maybe some students that are working on their archaeology degrees. And you see them being generally directed by a few people that are about and around.
So is this the dig site, or
This
is
is the dig site.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe we'll just kind of walk up there and just fast talk them a little bit, just get a feel, and we can scope the place out. Come back later.
Sounds like we're planning a heist, dude.
Yeah, we are planning a heist, okay?
Well, we're not planning on
We're
that.
coming in the middle of the night for something. So, okay, so we'll park, and we'll walk on up.
All right. What do you guys want to do? I mean,
All right. Okay.
you tell me.
Yeah,
This is
we're
your
just
scene.
walking- right. Hey guys, what's going on out here? We're driving by and you're digging in the middle of a field for something. Are you building a building here or something? Was something going in?
Well, a couple of students turn around and look over and go, "You're not with the university."
What do you mean? No, well, yeah, is it that obvious?
Yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, but you're not even. I mean, what do you? This is the middle of a field. Y'all are digging. You got all these. I mean, I can see all your sweaters and
Student
stuff.
turns around right then and goes, Mr. Buckley, or Professor Buckley, can you come deal with these folks? We're trying to finish up what we're supposed to do here."
Can I try to slither away and go into stealth?
You're gonna
Sure.
slither.
Yeah, I'm gonna slither away. I'm just gonna go prone and be like, you can't see me.
Does Buckley look up?
He sure does, and he
Okay,
starts
cool.
walking that direction.
I'm gonna kind of intercept him.
Okay.
So, stealth.
Is it
21 out of 30.
Dr. Buckley? Is that
Hold on a
correct?
second. What'd you roll?
21 out of 30.
Okay. So you kind of, with your younger age, kind of blend in with some of the students that are walking by and start walking off in
I
one
was going to ask
direction.
if any of
Punch a
them.
guy and take his sweater.
I was going to ask if any of them wasn't wearing his sweater.
All right, so you intercept Professor
Yeah.
Buckley.
Professor Buckley.
Do I know you?
You don't? No.
Look, if you're here from the university, because obviously you're not one of my students. If you're here from the university, I'll have the dig wrapped up within a week.
I'm not here from the university. I'm actually here as a person of interest in what's going on here.
How so?
May I be perfectly upfront with you?
Please do. My time is pretty valuable right now.
I've sifted through some of the public record on the things that you were looking for here, and found that you're investigating some sort of Chickasaw ruin, some sort of Chickasaw remains. That,
Of course, there are people were all over here.
absolutely, but they have the strong similarities to Algonquin medical rituals in the way that things are stored at this site.
Roll me a notice check.
Bingo. Do you mean a spot hidden?
Yeah, notice. Spot hidden. Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, I win. I win.
You win? How well do you win? Bingo!
The normal amount.
Not an exorbitant amount.
Standard winning.
One
rate.
where he doesn't have to pull out a bottle of scotch. Okay?
I didn't win well, and I didn't win extremely well.
All right. So, at the mention of the Algonquin reference, you kind of catch him squint his eyes a little bit, kind of like he's trying to figure out how you would know such information. Are you sure you're not from the university? Because you seem to be quite educated in Native American traditions.
Now, I am not a part of the university, but I did go there this morning.
And
Well, I sort of got this information from a certain Dr. Greer, who I believe works with you. Because, may I show you something? Do you have the time?
sure,
I pull out the sheet of paper and show it to him. This is what I took to Greer to look over for me. And he was able to translate a few things here and there, and he said that those words referenced some sort of Chickasaw space that had Algonquin tendencies. The way that
yes,
it
this
was
word
written.
right here, written in Chickasaw, says Askudakamooch.
He did not say it quite so eloquently as you did.
Well, it's not really his language.
Well,
This is my specialty. That's why I'm here.
absolutely, and that's why I'm deferring to you. That's why I came to see you immediately once he told me this.
What's your interest in this?
Why?
Well,
Why would the Algonquin be here in this region?
they shouldn't be,
Exactly.
unless maybe long-range war parties, which is more towards your Western cultures than you're the Western side of the country than it is to the Eastern side of the country. But they have been known to take slaves.
What can you tell me about Algonquinese ghost witches?
You just said the name.
Well,
I need to have you roll a fast talk or a charm.
Yup.
while that's going on, can I go ahead and start keeping an eye out for like anyone who's not wearing their sweater or something like
I'm up
if I
push
can
it.
find a sweater somewhere?
Okay, so your risk of pushing this is that he shuts down.
It's fine.
You can do a spot hidden.
Cool, 14 out of 50.
I'm spending 22 luck points.
Ooh.
Wow.
I got 14 out of 50.
Okay. So is that's actually a
Well, that's just me trying to find. I was searching
exceptional
for the crowd.
success though, right? What's
That's-
the one in the small box on there?
For spot hidden,
It'd be 25
You
or
need a
10.
dice roller.
there's two small boxes. There's the 25 and the 10.
All right, so you got a hard success.
Sure.
You do see a few students that are running around that are more in coveralls than anything else. They're covered almost head to foot in dirt. They're running around with small tools, brushes, small spades, things like that you would normally associate with some kind of fine artifacts dig site.
Okay, I'm gonna remove.
Now, what you also notice in addition to that is you see a few of those students carrying items in to a tent that's located at the back of the field. That they're coming back out without those items. And with that, we're going to switch over to Rip.
Okay. I'm basically doing, since he intercepted Mr. Buckley, I'm just kind of, wandering around and looking for things that are interesting. Now, I would notice all these things going into the tent,
Well, if you did a spot hidden, maybe. I'm trying to give you guys an opportunity to see what you really see and what's going on.
Well, I was successful. Not anything exceptional.
Just
but I
normal
was
success?
successful. Yeah, normal success.
Yeah. I'll say that that's enough to see people going in and out of the tent. You're not specifically looking for something like what Bobby over here was looking for.
Billy.
And I'm going to try.
Billy.
I'm
Bobby.
I'm trying.
Dang
to,
it, Bobby.
Barry, Bobby, Billy.
I'm trying to walk into the tent, just stealthy. I made my stealth roll, kind of like unobtrusively walk in. If somebody interrupts me, I'll start fast talking my way in.
Okay. Students aren't really paying you any attention.
Okay.
They seem to be just going about their business, and you've got a few in there that are writing some information, and a couple that are drawing some pictures that seem to be of the artifacts, and writing down some like grid coordinates where they found them. So that's what's going on currently in the tent, and we're going to switch back over to Percy here.
Okay.
So you pushed it, and you spent a bunch of luck.
I did.
He is noticeably getting more and more agitated with your line of questions.
This was my charm check.
I understand.
Okay.
I didn't say you failed it.
Okay.
But he is noticeably getting more and more agitated with your line of questioning.
You should have let me talk to him. I'm telling you.
And now, so reiterate what your question was to him.
I don't remember.
It was about the Algonquins.
It's like they shouldn't be up here.
Yeah, what would make them be here?
Oh, ghost witches. You asked.
Tell me everything you know about ghost witches.
This is just a legend. The ghost witches themselves, about every 200 to 300 years, supposedly it's about a medicine man that made a deal with demonic spirits of the the Native American gods, and they hunt children.
Why?
That's what we want to unearth and find out.
That's what you're researching here?
That is what we are researching here. But that's not what the university thinks is going on. I mean, if we can connect the dots and say what's going on with this older culture that's long lost, why this behavior is happening here as opposed to where it should have been centered. Maybe we can find out that the Algonquins were here maybe prior to the Chickasaw people.
I see.
What a find that would be. That could rewrite the history books.
It absolutely could. Yes, that would be quite wild. Do you have time for another few questions? Just one or two.
If you make it quick.
I have two questions. Does the name Paul Dillon mean anything to you?
It does not.
Interesting.
If you'd like to make a notice roll or a spot
see
hidden, see
if he's hiding anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy, these dice are better. I got an 18, which is almost an extreme success.
Okay. He is not showing any body language, and as a psychiatrist, you would know that he is not showing any body language.
Yeah, he's intentionally concealing something.
Right. So he's on the up and up with that statement.
Perfect. And this question is intentionally trying to, in some way, like, break him and get him to make a mistake.
Okay.
2 days ago, your name came up in the paper as if missing. You're clearly not, so where were you?
Roll and intimidate.
Yep. This is not going to go good. I have a 15 in Intimidate. Oh, a 14.
And you didn't have to use 22
Very
luck
nice.
points.
And I
Very
didn't
nice.
have to do any. So hang on, I need to mark Intimidate, and what was the other skill I just did?
Charm.
No, I spent luck for Charm.
Ah.
It was Spot Hidden.
That's Biden. Okay, so he kind of now he's noticeably, I mean, really uncomfortable with this. Well, you have to understand. Obviously, you're a doctor. You're a man of means. I am not. I'm a professor.
Is this a slip of yours? Because I didn't introduce myself to him.
Yes. This
Okay.
is Slip of Mine.
Okay, just making sure that I
He
don't
sees
need
the
to
way
make a
you're
note.
dressed. He sees the way you're dressed.
That's fine. I just need to make sure I don't need
So-
to make a note that he knows who the F I am.
Welcome to Call of Cthulhu, where you two can become paranoid when the GM makes a gaffy. All right.
That means you're doing it right.
That's right. That's exactly right. Okay, continue.
All right. Obviously, you're a man of means.
Thank you.
I am not. And I have to go to beg the masters, the university here, whenever I need funds to do anything. They think I'm on one type of dig, and I'm actually on another, which we've just recently, revealed here and discussed, but they're constantly on me to end and wrap up this dig. So of course my students are going to cover for me when I tell a few of my key students that they can enhance their opportunities for some additional grades towards their archaeology degrees.
Enhance opportunities.
Well, do I have to say that they don't have to take certain tests and examinations?
To cover for you.
Absolutely. Now,
But what were
you
you...
kind of have me over a coal here, so, I'd appreciate it if you just wouldn't talk to the university for a few more days and let me wrap up what I need to wrap up. Again, I'm trying to rewrite history here, sir.
Surely. But where were you?
I've been here. I've been back cataloging everything that we've pulled out of the earth.
And is there something still missing? What do you think you're going to find? What's the artifact here that you haven't yet upturned? You've got, from what...
I have every organ from this dig. But one,
Which one?
the heart.
What does the heart mean?
The heart? Well, it's obviously a missing organ. They took the time to mummify all these other organs. Why wouldn't the heart be located here?
Perhaps these Indians eat hearts.
That's really not their way.
Well,
I'll say, stick to what you're good at. This is my job.
But I saw Dances with Wolves.
I
He
do not
says
know
from
if
the
this dances
tent.
with wolves of which you speak.
So while that's all happening, and I notice that they're going in and out of the tents, and I'm gonna take off my just make it look like I'm just like kind of like a student without the
rub
sweater
some dirt
on.
all over you.
Yeah, and I'm gonna start rubbing dirt onto me, and I'm gonna try to sneak into the line and just go in wherever they're going.
Pick up a rock.
Not the tent, but like when they're going back to the cave, I want to be in that group.
Well, there's no cave.
Yes,
There's
right,
it's
okay,
open
that-
field,
That's
dig
a big
area.
pit.
You just see like strings put in a grid, and you see students that are digging in different sections of it.
Is there like a deeper area than like because they've
Not
been working
really.
on it for a while?
They're only probably about 3 or 4 feet down.
Okay.
You got to think these are Native Americans.
Mhm.
This isn't
Yeah, it's not
thousands
1,000
and
years.
thousands
Yeah.
of years
Yeah.
ago.
Also, are there any figurines or anything like that in this?
All right, you can spot hidden if you'd like. So are you staying out there in the dig area?
Yeah, I'm gonna just try to look casual in the dig area and talk to some of the students and
So,
see what they think is going on.
casual. Be a
Yes.
mushroom cloud casual.
I spot hidden.
Okay. How well?
Just normal. I mean,
You
better.
don't see any figurines, but what you do see is some notes that are laying on the desk, and you see what looks like one of the drawing pictures that was in the journal. So it's got an oblong shaped base that's just cut in different directions, has some chunks missing out of corners of it, but it has a strange symbol that sits on top of it, and then right next to it's a picture of a cat.
Of a cat?
A cat.
So these are both drawings, or this was actually a broken piece of a figurine?
These are just drawings. There is no
drawings.
figurine.
Okay, I'll pull out my cell phone, take a picture.
I'd like you to make a Cthulhu Mythos roll.
What is this witchcraft of which you speak?
Do a science roll and see if you can just memorize it.
Yeah.
Just eat the pig.
I don't really want to
Eat the salad.
steal anything right now. Unless there's something I see that I might want to pocket.
Well, it's an Indian dig site or a Native American dig site. You're going to see pottery. You're going to see arrowheads. You're going to see miscellaneous little tools.
Nothing
Nothing that's
props
really standing out.
Okay.
Some beads, some bead work, some like bone work that you would see on traditional dress. Things like that.
All right. If I really don't see too much, then I'm gonna make a note in my mind of what I just saw of that thing, that drawing, and then I'm gonna wander back out. I'll wander over to where Mr. Doogie is.
All right. So it's about that same time frame where Tony's walking up, that John Buckley looks back over at you and goes, "Now, I do have to say I am busy. I do need to wrap this up. So, good day to you, sir." And he turns around and walks off.
Tell Paul I said hi. And then I turn and walk back toward the car.
He doesn't even bat an eyelash.
No, I know.
I'm going to try to act natural and stay here and figure out some more stuff. So
Okay.
I'm going to make it look like, I'm just going to dig, try to keep my face a little bit hidden. I'm just another student there.
Just grab a brush and start.
Mm-hmm.
How many people are at this dig?
Do I need to go into stealth?
It's
by
about
the way?
22.
At 22. Okay.
I think
He doesn't have a freaking clue.
I'm
Anyway,
All right. I'm just
he's more taken aback by what the conversation that just happened.
Okay.
So what are you guys gonna do?
So did you find anything out?
I found out that the name Paul Dillon makes him quite uncomfortable.
It did it, or did it not bother him at all?
He didn't react,
He
but
didn't react at all.
as a psychologist, I would know.
Right, but the impression I got was that you were saying it.
Right. No, the impression that what I
think
was
you
saying
got the wrong impression.
is that
Oh.
it didn't react or trigger anything that you would see from somebody who's trying to hide.
Oh, I
That
thought you were
was the
saying he
impression
was
I got,
intentionally trying to hide something.
No,
I totally misread
it
that.
was
Yeah.
completely opposite. It's you didn't see anything where you would believe that he was trying to
Then
hide something.
I rescind my cool exit statement.
Yeah,
Then.
and as a non-psychologist, I watched that whole thing go down, and I was like, "Oh,
You were in a tent.
I watched it too. I was like, "Oh yeah, he said one thing and he heard something else." Okay, yeah.
I could do the psychology
he was
thing.
he was too worried about being paranoid.
Oh, suspicion around every corner.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't see too much either. Just
So is Billy sticking around the dig site?
Billy's sticking around the dig site. He's just gonna casually talk to some of the people whenever he's bringing some of the things back to the.
Or
to the
casually
tent.
talk to people?
Okay.
Would that be fast talking?
It absolutely would be fast talking. But what are you trying? What's your goal?
I am just trying to figure out what the students are being told is going on and stuff like that. Like, what do they know? Like, maybe they know what's going on, or maybe they're being completely lied to. And either way, that'll help us figure out some more about the investigation.
All right. So why don't you try and fast talk a couple of them?
Okay. I'd like to push that.
All right. The consequence is
Oh, I
that they're just going to shut up.
All right.
I think they should find out that he's not one of them.
Oh, that's a 99.
Yeah.
A 99.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happens. That is what is considered a crit fail.
Okay. I thought
All right.
100 was a crit fail.
It is, but you're close enough that's just
interesting.
ridiculous, the scenario. What's your
only-
skill?
With only
Oh,
22
5.
students. And you pushed it too.
I can't even lie to my mother. I mean, what are you doing out here? Bait and
Run! They're going to be
Hey,
mummified.
how are you doing? I don't belong, huh?
They're looking for the heart.
Where's the heart?
I can't find my heart.
The goofiness of our table. Right. So, yes, to speed and expedite this along, you have been found out, and they look at you and, you're not a student here. What are you doing?
What do you mean I'm not?
You're
a
going to
student?
mess up our dig site. You're going to mess up my grade.
What are you talking
Don't
about?
make me go get the professor.
You
Get
got
out
a
of
free
here.
grade.
Get out of here.
You
don't
got
know
a free
that.
grade.
You don't know that.
I was hanging around.
No, you could have failed that one too.
I could. Hey, could I bluff it? Maybe. I
No,
I
you
failed
already
the fast
tried
talk,
the fast
yeah.
talk. It didn't work.
Okay, I'll just.
So a couple of students look over at some others and say, "Hey, go get the professor. This guy doesn't belong here. He's going to mess up. He's going to mess us up."
Interesting. I'd like to pull out my .38 revolver and quiet them up. And just, hey, buds, let's keep it. I don't have a .38 revolver.
I was going to say, we're about to get into some serious rolling.
Hey, Doug, I think we're out of here. We may need a new driver.
We already gone.
Yeah, you already left.
He is by himself in a field.
Well, we haven't driven away yet. I mean,
Oh, yeah. Oh, we did.
That wasn't explicitly said, but
He said he was staying, so we are leaving.
well, you guys didn't even know what he was doing.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
y'all
true.
just left without me.
Yeah,
You're like,
well,
I
no,
assume
we
he's
wouldn't-
oh my
we
god.
That's true. We wouldn't leave
All
without.
right, Pam, screw it.
Yeah.
We're going to
All
sit
right.
in the car.
So anyway, at this point, you got a couple of students that are running off to go get the professor. What are you doing?
I'm running into the tent and I'm going to collect some items that belong to me now.
We tried to be so nondescript.
Oh well.
Okay. There is no point in stealth here.
Nope.
There is no point in making any other rolls.
Nope.
Do we
I'm
see him run into the tent?
I'm gonna go into the
I
tent.
don't know. Do you?
I'm gonna go
Do we
into
need
the
to
tent.
roll?
Can I do a spot hidden to see what? Because I haven't been in the tent yet. Or well, I've been in the tent.
Well, did he notice that I went into the tent? Because if he saw me go into the tent, he may or may not decide to go into the tent.
I think he just decided to go into
No,
the
he
tent.
just decided to go to the tent. I'm going to let him commit to this.
There we
Okay.
go.
I'm gonna run into the tent and quickly scan the area and grab
Do me a spot hidden at disadvantage.
disadvantage.
So basically, re-roll your 10 and see and tell me which one's lower.
Okay, we're gonna do.
Or sorry,
higher.
which one's higher?
This one's here. We got 51 and 87.
No, just the 10.
Just the 10.
All you
Oh,
rerolled is the 10.
So you actually
Oh,
got an
what?
80. You got an 81.
Okay, I got an 81.
Yeah.
I'd like to spend 31 luck. I've got it. I've got 84. I can do it.
Y'all are gonna. Wow. All right.
Okay.
How many times?
We don't know what luck does.
You're gonna find out soon.
Oh well, I still got plenty of
I
it.
guess so.
You,
All right.
You think you don't know what plenty is.
Oh,
So we're
I
gonna
do.
we're gonna go back
Oh.
to the exact same description that we had with Tony. That you just see a bunch of miscellaneous what looks like pottery pieces. You just see now. You see a couple of tools, other things that are there. You see some students writing in catalogs, drawing some pictures of what they see of what those items are, and you do see on the desk a couple of pieces of paper that have a cat figurine, but there is no figurine itself. It's just a drawing.
I'd like.
Take the brain.
I-
Take the brain.
I'd actually I might because I've worked with you enough that I'd probably think he might want that.
This looks like a good gift for
Oh,
my
is the
boss.
mummified brain there?
He didn't
Okay.
see it.
Oh, okay.
I'd like to use persuasion on the people writing. I'm gonna talk to them real quick. Be like, Professor what's his name? Professor Buckley. He said he needs those drawings right away. Are they finished?
The students look back at you and say, "Not these that we're working on right now, but those over there in that folder are."
Can I take these two? He's urging me right
Roll
now.
me a check.
All right.
What check?
I
It's
said
persuasion.
persuasion.
Okay,
What
okay.
about fast talk?
Persuasion.
Hey,
or-
let him
no,
do
that would be
persuasion.
charm. It would be charm. in
The
this.
boy's got a 5 in fast
actually.
talk.
Yeah. Persuade.
You might be able to pull that off. He can't.
Ooh, I'm going to spend 1 luck and change that to a 20 and pass the roll.
So reluctantly, they just kind of turn around. And say, just take it and go. Just
Okay,
take
cool.
it and go.
Thank
We
you,
need
thank
to
you, thank
finish
you.
up.
And I grab that and I grab the is the brain somewhere around over
You don't
here?
see any of the.
Oh, I didn't see the brain.
Ask them where the brain is.
Be like,
He wants
there was
the
a brain,
brain.
right? Yeah.
He wasn't there for
Yeah, I
any of that
wasn't there.
conversation.
No, I know.
I'm not
but-
going to let him pet
So
it.
I'm just
He
gonna
found the heart. He
I'm just
needs
gonna
the
grab
brain.
those drawings and I'm gonna hightail it out of there.
Okay. Wow, you got screwed.
Oh man, did you get screwed? The
perfect.
opposite of a 99 is
A 3. So as you go taking off out of the tent, you're leaving out of the tent just as Professor Buckley's walking in. And he takes one look at you and sees the folder under your arm. And just reaches out to snatch the folder. Are you going to try and keep it and run?
I'm going to try to keep it and run.
Okay, then what I want you to do is I want you to do a, let's see here.
brawl.
It's gonna be like a brawl check.
So fighting brawl?
Yep.
Okay.
So this is an opposed check.
Or dodge. There's also dodge.
I look at Tony. What's he doing? Is he?
I'd like to do the fighting brawl check.
All right.
I'd like to push it. I passed.
So normal to normal.
Yes. Brawl, fighting brawl. Yeah, it's just a normal pass.
So you go to try and slam through him as he's reaching down to grab the papers, and he's a little bigger than you are, and you just kind of bump into him, and nothing really happens at that point. Would you like to go again?
Yes. 22.
And he trips.
And that would have been a hard success for me.
Well, that's fine. He failed completely. So you did beat him. So similar to that, so that you guys know that when we do get to eventually some kind of combat scene, the way that it works is it's an opposed check. You go against the skill to skill, and it's whoever has the better success.
Okay.
Type is the winner of that type of skill.
Not just the success. So it's
Right.
gotta
So
be
if
a
you're using
type.
firearms and they're using dodge, then there's some modifiers that are there. Who gets advantage? Who gets disadvantage? But that's basically the way that the
Did I
checks kinda
lose
work
some of
out.
the stuff that I got in that kerfuffle, or
No, you so
got
you
it.
turn around and you kind of yank real hard on the folder, and it kind of throws him off balance as you're kind of turning around and running out the front.
all right?
And he starts screaming and hollering at the students, telling everybody, "Hey, stop that guy! He's taking our research."
And they're gonna see me coming down the hill, be like, "Start the car, start the engine."
And the Indians come running up over the hill, throwing spears at them. I'm fishing.
So you
I lock the doors on the car.
you come running down the hill.
It's a convertible.
You come running down the hill screaming, and you guys, I'm not even going to make you roll. You guys notice that Billy is running down the hill covered in dirt, holding papers in some folder that he's running at full sprint
To the car.
with a bunch of students now chasing him.
Am I keeping a good pace in front of him?
Billy, don't lose that folder. Do I
Why
need
do
to
we need
roll
the
a
folder?
drive? Do I
What
need
would
to
you
roll-
guys like to do?
I'm firing up the car.
No, what do you mean? Don't lose the folder. What's in the folder, Tony?
No, Billy, don't lose that
Yeah.
folder.
Look, I'm running, and we're committed now. Just don't lose it.
It was just a silly joke. Okay, so I fire up the car.
Mhm.
All right. I'm still sprinting towards the car, so do I make it to the car?
I'm going to let you get to the car.
Okay. All right.
Their students are maybe 50 yards behind you.
Okay.
That's
I
quite a ways.
quickly just try to get into the car door, close it. Did you lock it? Is it unlocked?
Should we let him in? Should we just take off?
Yeah, we'll let him in.
All right, let him in.
And then I trip the traps, the cow
Give me a
trips.
drive check to kind of get away.
Oh yeah, hard success.
Okay. So you wear down on the gas, and I mean, it's a 1930s Rolls. It's still not going to be this earth terror of
No,
speed,
it's his
but-
car.
Yeah,
It's not my car.
It's my car.
It's his
So
car.
it's the rum runner's vehicle.
It's the rum
Yeah,
runner.
yeah.
It's not our thing. We can't be traced to this.
So it lets out a
If
huge
he's a criminal,
backfire.
Yeah, he's a criminal, so who cares?
No, it's a 5-tune machine.
Let's at a backfire. I release the
takes off.
trap lever, pulls out the cow trips.
The best thing is that none of the students know who I am, and I was covered in dirt.
And as you guys speed off into the
And I did
brisk
not
morning.
introduce myself to the professor.
and
I
as
would
you
make that known.
speed off into the morning, that's what we're going to call this one a session. So keep on adventuring.